everybody, this is Christine Bertram and I'm coming to you live from the Hive here on a Monday night. And you know what time it is? It's time for Mystery Card Night. Yay, woohoo! That's what we're going to be working on tonight. So we're going to let everybody kind of rock and roll right in. I'm going to get my phone put on silent and then I'm going to find myself so I can watch all of your comments as we get going. So it's November's Mystery Card Night already. Is that not crazy? That means that we have one more for the rest of this year. And then we go into 2022. Oh, so crazy. So I am trying to, oh, there it is. Oh, maybe not. Let's see here. You guys, it's like sometimes the notification pops right up. Ah, there it is. And sometimes it's delayed. There we are. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Faye. Hi, Gwen. There's Laura. Woohoo! Cindy's here. Jean's here. You guys, I'm kind of in like limbo until I see my comments on my phone. I also have the ability to watch the comments on this tablet, but I feel like my phone works better. I don't know if it does or it doesn't, but I feel like it does. So yes, so I have some new stampers with me tonight that are new to me. Maybe not new stampers per se, but new to me tonight. Hi, Susan Reed. And there's Susan Murphy. Woohoo, got some nice Susans tonight. There's Debbie Schultz. Woohoo. So we're gonna oh, I have my cords all hanging up here too. I was trying to make sure everything was charged and ready for us so we don't have issues with technologies. Hi, Barb from North Dakota. Anxious to see what we're going to be making tonight. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Wendy. So, yeah, don't be too anxious. Be more excited than anxious. I think anxious, it means that maybe it's more nerves that are not so exciting nerves. Be excited because just know whatever you guys make tonight, there is no right or wrong way to make your card tonight. Hi, Deanne. Hi, Lynn Beasley. There's Susan Rish. All right. So as people start to roll on in, I'm going to try to welcome you and say hi. Hi, Karen. But as I start talking, I'm going to just give some pointers and tips because I know that some of you are new to my Mystery Card Night and some of you are not new. You've been around the block with me a time or two. So eager is a good word. Yes. Hi, Mo. There's Barbara Godby. Hi, Karen. Hi, Julie. Penny Powell. Hi, Hildenell. Hi, Kay Warren. Hi, Madge. So this night is for you guys. Hi, Tina. Hi, Jamie. Woohoo, look at you guys all coming in here. Hi, Janice. This night is for you to get away and not have to pay for anything. I want you to use what you guys have at home. It does not matter what brand of product it is. I always try to encourage you to find something from your stash that you haven't used before and that you've been wanting to use. Dark Southern Wisconsin, I know our time changed last week and it seems like it's so dark already. Hi, Sherry Martin. And cold, I know, you guys. We had snow this morning and yesterday and Saturday night. Nothing really sticks, but it's still getting to that, I think it's nasty. I don't like cold and snow. Yep, but I'm from Wisconsin, so that's what I get. Hi, Lori. From Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Every time I see Lake Elmo, I think of Elmo, like Red Elmo. And that's so funny. He's always what comes into my mind when I see you write that. I love it. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Deb Norman. So this is for you guys to use whatever you want. Don't feel like because I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you have to use Stampin' Up! Products. You could use any brand. There's no right or wrong thing. This night for you guys. Hi, Kathy Jackson and Luann. Hi, Dawn Reeder. This night is for you guys to have fun. You have lots of stuff going on in your crazy world and you're taking time to do something for yourself. This hour that we're going to spend together is you're going to forget about everything and just concentrate on what you're working on. And I always want people to have fun. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Susie. Hi, Donna. There's Victoria. Woohoo. Hi, Karen Wetstein. Hi, Sandy Wicklander. So what I try to do for Mystery Night is give you guys all the clues and help you get some products together, and then we make the card as we go. Hi, Jewel. And the one thing that Carissa always, what she told me that she always does is she starts with her designer paper. So those that are new to me and you were trying to figure out, well, what products do you use? What should you grab? You have a hard time envisioning what your card's going to look like. So Carissa said, hi, Deborah Schultz. Carissa said she always starts with the designer paper or your pattern paper. Once you pick what pattern paper you want to use, Then you pull in your cardstock colors, like your coordinating cardstock 1 or 2. And then once you have that kind of figured out, then you look at the size of your focal image and sentiment, and you see what kind of words or focal images would go in that, and then pick your stamps last. So that's just a little bit of advice in case that's not how you operate. Maybe that will help you in the future. Hi, Karen. Hi, Carissa. I was talking about you. Your ears must have been ringing. Hi, Donna from Northeast Michigan. So there's Laura. Today I drove 6 hours from Milwaukee to Lake Elmo. You were like right in my backyard, Lori. I'm an hour north of Milwaukee. So one of these times you need to coordinate it so that maybe you could check out the hive or come for a class, depending on what your schedule's like. Hi, Bonnie Kelly. So that's one thing, don't worry, don't stress. And you guys, hi, Denise. If you are watching me as I'm like making my fake card, then you can see what it's all about, and you could always go back and reconfigure yours if you want to. I know a couple people or a few people actually cut and prep for 2 or 3 different cards, so they go out of this with a few cards that they can use. I don't make the card with you guys, so I have the scrap papers, I have everything cut, but I don't want you guys to be biased by what you see on my and Kelly's card to impact what your card looks like. So that's why I use scraps. I don't show you a picture of the card. We will publish our card on Thursday night at the end of the Facebook Live class that I'm going to be doing with the Painted Christmas. So just a little bit about that. I've been noticing that there are no spammers that have been commenting. Sometimes we get weird, random people trying for you guys to click on stuff. Oh, you grew up in South Milwaukee and your aunt lives there. Aw, that's sweet. So when you go to visit her again, Aunt spends winters with us up north. Okay, so when you're in the area, make sure to look me up. Hi, Jean Maxwell. So you guys, if there are spammers that come in and comment and want you to click on things, just know that you shouldn't click on them. I watch for that. Kelly watches for that. We just don't want you to click on any of that. This is a free class. You guys, this is on me. I love helping to inspire and help you be creative and crafty. And so you never have to pay for this. So don't ever click on anything if by chance something pops into the news feed about that. Okay. The other thing too is if your designer paper or your pattern paper ends up getting cut the wrong way, the card is horizontal this time. Just know you could make it vertical if you wanted to. So you don't have to recut paper. Remember, nobody knows what this card was intended to look like in your mind. They'll be happy with a handmade greeting card. So, okay. All right, so did I forget anything? Oh, Julie's a first timer. So here we go. I always love to ask this. If you are first time doing mystery card with me tonight, mystery card night with me tonight, give me the thumbs ups. And if you have been doing this and loving it, give me those hearts, you guys. I love to see that come through just to see how many new people. And you guys, I love that you share my videos with others and link people to them. I've had so many people thank me for somehow they found me, that their friend tagged them, and they're just so happy that they found this fun community of stampers to stamp with. And so people love to have some positivity shared in their life. So don't be afraid to share the video. I really appreciate that. Oh, look at all the hearts. Yay. So for those first timers, relax. Have fun. If anybody is not a first timer and wants to add some advice in here to the new first timers, that's great, you guys. This is our time to share and stamp together. Second time for Debbie Schultz. I love it. You guys, my fingers are cold. I'm rubbing them together. When I'm in the hive here by myself, it's not warm, as warm as I wish it would be. Hi, Mary. Hi, Brenda Keppel. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go through clue number 1. You guys had all access to that. The clue 1 is always shared in 2 places right off the bat. It's always in my website, cardsbychrisb.com. You go to the events section, find the day of the mystery card night, and it's in there, the description. And then the other place to find it is in Facebook, in the events section, and it's in the description. It's a little bit more sneaky that you have to click on the word show more, and then the thing pops up. So yes. Hi, Judy Bobo. Okay, so we're going to flip the camera down, and we're going to start going through clue 1. And then what will happen is I'm going to keep flipping back and forth between me and the clues as we start working on the card. And the main thing is that you let me know as you guys are finishing up the clues. I look to you for guidance. You're not here with me, even though you feel like you are, but I don't know, I know some people work faster and some people work slower. Just know that if you don't keep up to a certain step and other people are already commenting that they're done, don't feel pressured like, oh my God, I'm not done, I'm not done. Just kind of roll with it and then start watching, and then you can always come back and finish as you are working on the card. Hi, Sue. Newcomers advice, don't miss it. So much fun. If you do miss it, watch the replay. I love it, Sue. Thank you for that advice. Perfect. Yes, it makes you think. I love it when people tell me, I've had a few people comment and reach out to me and say that they get my clue number 1 and then they think, well, what is she making? Like all these pieces, and how do they go together? So, hi, Janet. Okay, so we're going to flip down, you guys. I got to be careful. I did something to my back. I saw the chiropractor today. He told me I have a bulge between discs 4 and 5. Don't ask me, but it's like, it hurts. So I might be standing up sometimes in between. You might not see that I'm standing up, but I was doing that yesterday in class. I was standing up every 10 or 15 minutes to like stretch my back a little bit. And so, yeah, it sucks. Like when your back is not in good, I couldn't even put my socks on before class. I am wearing my slippers right now. You guys, it's like, you gotta laugh at these kind of things, right? Oh my, but didn't find the material list. Barbara, the material list is, and if somebody wants to write it for Barbara or send her the link in here, you guys, I would truly appreciate it. I know, right? Hi, K-Weir. If somebody could just send Barbara the link, I'm not sure if Kelly's watching or not, but if somebody could copy and paste the link to clue number 1 from my website and put it into the comments in here for me, I would really appreciate it. Because then, Barbara, you could get the material list. It's always on my website or it's on Facebook, and you have to go to the event section on both. So, oh, thanks, Karen. So what the chiropractor told me is that it just needs time to heal. He said that you can pop or like get that bulge in your disc. He's like, just by getting out of bed in the morning. And I'm like, if this happened to me now, like, I just got to be so careful going forward, because I'm like, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. Barb, check the comments. Yeah. So he said that if it's not feeling better by Thursday, I should come back up on Thursday. But it's one of those things that it has to just heal, and you just don't want to keep aggravating it more. So, so yeah, we go. Aspirin, my mom said. And I think it's in my genes, because she said my dad had this happen to him when he was about my age. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. So, hi, Pam. I know, nothing worse than back pain. Any kind of pain sucks. It does. But the back thing, it's like, I can't even touch my toes right now. Hi, Brenda Leewood. Woohoo. Okay, so, but I'm good, you guys. I'm not like doped up on medication or anything. I just am high on life. That's usually why I'm so happy. So, all right, on that note, we're going to flip down, and we're going to, oh, wait. We're going to go to clue number 1. Okay, so let's flip down. And so this is what we've got for clue number 1, you guys. And I like to go through pieces with you before we get started. This buys you time in case you didn't get it quite ready. And I know that we talked about circles, and sometimes you guys don't have circles, right? If you don't have a circle punch, or if you don't have a circle die, you guys, it's okay. You could use a square instead, and a square would be perfectly fine. Hi, Alice from Indiana. Hi, Susie from Illinois. You guys could use a square. Thanks for sharing, Alice. You could use a square. If you don't have a circle like this, doing a square, a 2.5 inch square or a 2 3/4 inch square would be perfectly fine. So don't worry if you don't have a circle. And I know what we used for ours, we actually used some dies. We used some layering circles dies for ours, and I didn't want to go through the work of getting out my die cutting machine because it's heavy. So I just pulled out some punches, actually. So I actually pulled out 2. This is why I'm showing you. It's not like, this is a guideline, you guys. This is not set in stone. Hi, Peggy. You guys can alter and change. The main thing for you guys is to get crafty here. So I actually, if you look at this, I pulled out my punch. I thought I had a 2 3/4 inch punch, but I can see you guys in my thing there. Okay, so I pulled out a 2 1/4 inch punch, and I actually pulled out a 2 1/2 inch punch. So either way, you guys, you're looking for something along the lines of like 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, and it's really hard to read on black. So my guy here is actually 2 1/2, and that's okay. So this works. It could be slightly smaller or slightly bigger. Hi, Pam Newhouser. Okay, so let's start here then. So you need a circle. You need a white circle. I'm gonna have to put mine together after live or else it will look endless hibachi. Yeah, that's fine. You definitely do that. You guys are more than welcome to watch, see what happens. And honestly, by the end of the live, people are already posting their pictures in the post, and then you can see what people are doing. So you need a circle, about 2 1/4, 2 1/2, something like that, in a vanilla or a white. So we, because you're on your way out to endless hibachi. That sounds fabulous. I definitely agree with what Sue said. That sounds phenomenal. You guys, we're going for burgers tonight, and I told Tyler I'm not sitting at a table. I'm standing at a counter to eat because the whole getting up and down is not good. So, but a girl's got to eat yet, right? So 2 1/4 or 2 1/2, something like that for a white circle. It could be vanilla, you guys. W means white and V means vanilla. So use whatever kind of a lighter color. If your card is more warm colors, use vanilla. If it's cool, we use white usually. So you need a 1x7 in either white. Hi, Kathy Groves. You need a 1x7. So this is 1 inch by 7 inches long. Okay, so you're like, what in the world is this piece of paper for? You will see momentarily. So white vanilla there. And then you need a strip here, small. This is gonna be for your sentiment. We're starting you off at 3 1/2 by 1 inch, and you will be able to cut this down if you need to. So we're starting off at 1 by 3 1/2. You may cut it shorter or off at the top, depending on your sentiment that you have here. So that is another piece here. So you have these 3 pieces in white vanilla, okay? Then coordinating cardstock 1. So when we say 1 and 2, that means 2 different colors that coordinate with like your pattern paper. So this is where we're throwing you off, you guys. This is not a traditional A2 size card. Hi, Marilyn. It is going to be something slightly different. So you have a piece of paper. This is my coordinating cardstock 1. It is 7 inches by 7 inches. Okay, so you've got 7 inches. It's a square basically. And what we've got here is you score it at 2 inches and 5 1/4 inches on the same side. So I scored mine here. So you can see there's a score line here. That is 2 inches from this side and then 5 1/4 from that side. So this is at 2 and that's at 5 1/4. So your score line is here and here, and this is at 2 inches and 5 1/4. My chicken scratch got really close there. So you guys can see my score lines, I think, right there. So you scored at 2 and 5 1/4. So that's the only piece that we have with this color. Okay, so far so good. I hope you guys are doing good with this so far. So you have another piece of colored cardstock. So it is the circle here. So I had mentioned that my sizing was a little bit different. Mine's a 2 1/4, so that makes this one 2 1/2. If you did find a 2 1/2 inch circle, then your coordinating cardstock would be 2 3/4. So you're just gonna have a circle that's slightly bigger than your white vanilla circle. So it's for matting, okay? And again, it's a different color. Mine's not really black per se. I just grabbed a different contrasting color, okay? So that's your coordinating cardstock. It's a circle. Now, if it was a square, that's okay, you guys. If you made this into a square because you don't have a circle, it will work just fine. So coordinating pattern paper. Hi, Melanie, how? That is like design, Stampin' Up's lingo. We call that designer series paper. Any kind of paper that has a pattern on it. And so like, this is my designer series paper. You guys, I love purple. So that's my scratch paper is purple, but this is a slightly different purple. So this is my designer paper. It's got X's all over it. And it is 7 inches by 1 1/2. And so this is where this measurement comes in. 7 inches wide by 1 1/2 inches tall, okay? So your pattern paper, if you have a pattern on it that it's going, it needs to be going this way, right? So you don't want it to be the pattern going this way. So this is meant to be horizontal. Now, if you cut yours where your pattern is going this way to make it vertical, you can make it work. It's not gonna be a problem. Hi, Chris Duderanke. Okay, then if you have coordinating inks, markers, stamps, ribbon and trim. So like you could pull in any of these ribbons, any trim, any embellishments that you want to put on it. anything to go with it. Like you need some adhesives, your scissors. Pretty much the only other thing that I didn't mention here is optional scraps. So I pulled in just some scraps of white paper so you can see that that's an option. It all depends on what your focal image is, okay? So thanks for sharing, Jamie Shipman. So I need you guys to tell me, are we good? I went through all of clue 1. You should have all your pieces laid out in front. I even pulled some sentiments here so that you could see some ideas. So I grabbed a little red ink color. I know none of my stuff matches, you guys, because it's not meant to match. When it's all said and done, I'm going to show you. Oh, you guys, you can kind of see it. Oh, man. Oh, sneaky. You guys could kind of see it. I have it there as a sample. Hi, Trudy. Yes, no problem. We just got started, Chris. We literally just went through clue number 1. So you guys are giving me lots of thumbs ups and lots of hearts. So I think that means that we're ready for clue number 2. So you guys, I'm going to have to tell you a little honesty here. We made these clues about 3 weeks ago and I haven't looked at them since. So I'm like, I hope they're right. I hope they're right. I hope I proofread them really good. I hope I proofread them really good. So we'll see as we go through it. All right. So here, you guys, is clue number 2. So we have here 2.5, okay? So that's your white vanilla circle. I had mentioned that I made mine slightly smaller, so mine's actually 2.25. You're okay with that. So here's the thing. Hi, Pam. So we have here, stamp your focal image on the 2.5-inch circle. So we have over here, you should not exceed 2.5 by 2.5 for your focal image. Now, if you have a slightly smaller circle like I do, you just make sure your focal image doesn't exceed this. The other option, you guys, the scraps come in handy here. So I'm going to show you what Kelly and I used for our card. We actually, you'll see this on Thursday. Hi, Barb Johnson. Oh, Peggy loves mystery card night. Good. I love that you love it. We actually used this combination of stamp sets for ours, and we put lots of foliage on ours. So we have leaves, we have berries, we have the fern things. We didn't put any pine cones on, but we used a lot of this stuff. And then what we did is we used the corresponding dies that go with it. And we filled our circle full of cool foliage. Unseasonable 70 degrees in Colorado. Woo, that's better than what we had here today. I think we had 36, Corey. So hi, Lisa Opperman. So you guys, if you want to keep it to your stamp and stamp it right on here, I mean, ultimately, you know it's going to get matted on here. If you are the type that loves to stamp an image and then fussy cut it out or die cut it out, you can use that's what these scraps are here for. If you're a stamper who loves layering and adding dimension to your cards instead of just stamping flat on your paper, that's what the scraps are for. So don't hesitate to stamp on these, fussy cut or die cut, and then layer them on to this white circle. That's perfectly fine. And on full disclosure, Kelly and I, we completely layered. We didn't even stamp on this piece. We filled it up with foliage and just made it like a nice bouquet of seasonal foliage. So Pam's done with number 1. That's awesome. The thing is too, you guys, if you have this type of focal image that needs to be colored in or made prettier with like blender pens or any kind of stamps with your Stampin' Blends, you guys can color your focal image. Hi, Amanda. So you're definitely welcome to take a little time and color the image. And as you guys are finishing up on clue number 1, make sure you give me the thumbs up. Like I just saw one come through now. If you guys want to write in the comment section that you're done, as soon as I start to see that there's maybe a dozen or so people that are done with their clue number 1 or number 2, then I'll start rocking and rolling into clue number 3. So this is your time to figure out what you want to stamp on your circle here for your focal image. Again, if you're looking to make a Christmas card, you might be stamping a bell on here or a Christmas tree or a star. You know, if you're not making a Christmas card, whatever kind of imagery matched your theme of your card. Hey, you might be making a fall card yet for Thanksgiving, which is coming up. You might be putting a pumpkin here. So Guess it's completely up to you. Just know that this is your home base for your focal image. And I've seen a handful or even more of people come through with clue number 1 being done. So I think that I'm safe. I saw like 10 of these come through. So I think what we will do, as long as, now, another note, you guys, hi Arliss. If you guys don't finish your clue number 2 here is what I meant to say. Clue number 2, if you're not done coloring, if you didn't get a chance to fussy cut it, just know that this is like the topmost layer of your card. You could always add this towards the end if you need to come back and color it. No problem whatsoever. Don't feel, oh my gosh, I'm not done, and give up. Don't give up on me, guys. No giving up, okay? But we are gonna rock and roll, and we're gonna move on to clue number 3. And for all I know, you guys might have already had your image stamped on that circle knowing that. Yo, Penny picked the same stamp set. Nice. So you guys, I'll let you in on a little secret. So when Kelly comes to me and says, what are we working on for mystery card night this month? I always think ahead to what my sweet class is, or my ink, paper, scissors class. So if you noticed last month, what card did we used Cutest Halloween in October, and that was the sweet class. And so we're using Painted Season so like the Painted Season class is Thursday, and then the card is going to be featuring those products. So, okay, Karen's all set too. All right, so we'll flip down here, you guys. Clue number 3. So you're going to take your focal image circle here, either stamped on or added your, if you popped it up. It's simple, guys. You're just going to glue it onto your mat, your circle that's matted. So your poisonous glue is whatever you want. If your poison is liquid glue, use liquid glue. Pick your poison. If it's this tape runner stuff, you can go for that. If you're a glue dot person, go for that. If you are tear and tape, mini glue, whatever you want, you guys. Oh, Deb Norman's using the same stamp set as well. That's awesome. It is the season for Christmas cards, and that painted, these two sets are absolutely gorgeous. So Deb and Penny, now that you know I'm doing this one, just know you could like put a couple pine, if you stamp your pine cones, you could put a pine cone or two and have some foliage coming out of it, and a little bosey in the middle. Super cute. So just know you don't have to just stamp the image on here. You can layer it up. So, all right, that was easy, you guys. So as soon as you have those glued, make sure you give me those thumbs up, because I don't want to rush through the whole gluing process. I know that we love to get glue happy, so this is a good time to get your white or vanilla matte circle glued onto your colored cardstock here. So get them glued together and set that off to the side, and then we're going to mosey on down to clue number 4. Woohoo! Okay. Now, this next clue is more stamping. You're going to stamp a sentiment on your 1 3.5, either white or vanilla little strip of paper. Again, if you don't like it, you can always stamp it on the other side. So flip it over. Hi, Terry, just watching. Glad you're here. Maybe you'll make a card after you're done watching. So here is what we talked about, that you might trim this down. So this is the sentiment that comes from one of those stamp sets that we talked about. And it's actually a little bit skinny, right? So it's not very tall. So when I stamp this on here, it might be a little long, but you've got a little wiggle room. So this one you might have, ideally your sentiment, what did we put on here for your size of your sentiment? I think we said not to exceed 1 inch by 2 inch, you guys. So 1 by 2 is ideal. That's what we told you. My sentiment here is more than 2 inches long. I can see that already. But here's what I can do. You do want to keep, and you'll see how this all comes together in the end, but I thought that it's a little high. So if you go with a sentiment that's slightly skinnier like mine is, don't be afraid to cut a little off. Trim it down. And then I did say that 1 by 2 is ideal. So if you need to, and don't do this quite yet, maybe I'll wait and I'll show you, but when we get to the part of putting this onto our card. Hi, Tabitha, long time no see. Hi, Marcia, have to catch the replay, no problem. So what you're gonna do is stamp your sentiment on the strip. And remember we talked about 1 by 2, no more than that. And you know, of course, I go and pick a stamp that is probably, what, about 3 inches long? Yep, but it will work. We can make it work, and I will show you how we'll make it work when it comes time to put the card together. Okay, so how are you guys doing on stamping your sentiment? Okay, I have a heart. You know, if you've got it done, make sure you give me some love, some likes, anything you need. I'm gonna clean my my stamp really quick, as long as you guys are still working on your sentiment. You know, the matching ink is important. Like if your cardstock is navy, it might be nice to have a navy ink. You know, you're matching your ink color to your cardstock and your designer paper. All right, I just saw lots of stuff, lots of hearts come through. Okay, you guys look like you're good. Okay, so on that, just patiently wait, set that little piece of paper aside. If you stamped it, your image was less than 2 inches, you're gonna be really safe. Mine is really long, and if you ended up with a longer sentiment, then I'm gonna show you how we can still make it work, okay? All right, so with that being said, we're gonna go on to clue number 5. Okay, so let's flip down. All right, now we're coming to our meat and potatoes of our card. We're gonna be taking our 7-inch piece of paper, the 7 by 7, and you're gonna fold it on the score lines. Okay, let's just do that first. So we had score lines. So we're gonna take and fold them on the score lines. Remember, I like to take a bone folder and burnish the edge to give it a nice crisp edge. If you don't use the bone folder, it kind of has a more rolled look to it. You can see kind of a difference, like where that one's a lot tighter and then that one is like bubbly to me. So that's why I always use a bone folder to burnish the edge. Okay, so that was the first part of clue number 5. You're gonna fold on the score lines. If you recall, our score lines were at 2 and 5 1/4. Okay, you guys starting to see what it looks like now, right? Okay, so now it says adhere the right and left sides of the 1 3/4 inch bottom flap. So what does that mean? You only want to put adhesive on the left and right side of this 1 3/4 inch flap, okay? This is going to become a pocket card, right? You want to be able to tuck something into here. So how do you glue it? Well, if you have liquid glue, you have to be very careful that you don't let it ooze out the side, because you want to stay as close to the edge as possible. So if you're going to do glue, you're going to do no more than that, because if you do, it'll ooze out and you don't want it oozing in. You want to keep as much space in the middle here as possible. The thing that I always find that's a little bit more safe is tear and tape. Isn't that number 2? No, I don't think so. I don't know, Debbie, what you were asking about number 2. Number 2 is fold the focal image, or stamp the focal image. I don't know if that's what you were asking about number 2. Are you saying 2 inches? I guess you guys, when you ask me questions, you got to be very specific, because I'm not exactly always sure what. Oh, 2 inches, haha, huh. Wait. Yeah, okay, now I get what you're saying. You're right. I think we have that written wrong. So the glue is just hanging out there. So you're right. This, I think what you're saying, I think, Debbie, what you're saying is yes. 2 inches, good, yep, see, I told you guys, I'm like, we wrote these a long time ago, and we're like, I hope that we did them right. Yes, you're right, it's 2.5 at the 2 inches. You're right, because if you take your ruler here, let's grab our ruler really quick. It's at, no, you guys, it's 1 3/4. You had it right. Okay, you guys, it is 1 3/4, not the 2 inch side. Okay, so we've got it right. We've got it right. This is gonna go like this, okay? So this is, in fact, 1 3/4 on this side, and this is 2. The 2 inches is the top. The 1 3/4 is the bottom, okay? So it is correct. We had it right, you guys. It was 1 3/4, not 2. So no, yes. Okay, so you guys, 1 3/4 inch is what we're gluing. Okay, so back on here, I have liquid glue on one side, and then I use tear and tape, honestly, you guys. I like tear and tape because it's very permanent in nature, just like liquid glue, but it's not gonna ooze out when you use it. So this is about 1/4 inch. And okay, no problem, Debbie. Good. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask questions. I very well could have had that incorrect too. So no worries. You could also, if you want, take your tear and tape and cut it in half like this. And then it is even skinnier for when you put it on the side. Okay. So that is an option here. Oh, Pam's done. Good call. So liquid glue, tear and tape. This is, in fact, this is, one more time, this is 1 3/4 inches here, okay? This side is 2 inches. You're doing the 1 3/4 inch side, okay? So what we're doing is adhering that, okay? So you can already start to see what this is gonna be used for, okay? Money, cash money, okay? So I think that everybody's back on track here. We got the base of ours. So when you open this up, you've got the 2 inches, that's the top panel, and you see that on the bottom, okay? So I do want to tell you guys right now, there is an optional thing that you could do. If you are more of an avid crafter and you like things to be a little bit more over the top, Lori, no problem if you're having problems keeping up. You guys, this is perfectly fine. If you can't keep up, there's always the ability to watch the rest of it. And then what you do is, as soon as I'm done, I will hit end, and this will be available as a replay in Facebook for forever. And so Laura, if you want to, you could continue to watch me what I'm doing, and then come back and watch the replay, and then stop me and start me as you go. So I don't want you to get discouraged, or anybody to get discouraged. Just keep rolling with it, and you're gonna be really happy that you did when you finish making your card, I promise. So, okay, so you guys, what we're starting to do is we're starting to come into see what we have for a card. Now for the avid crafter, what you could do is, yep, watch the replay tomorrow, Christina, no problem. If you guys like to emboss things, you could take this panel, and there is what we used is the Wintry Evergreen embossing folder, and we embossed half of it through the machine, and then we flipped it over, embossed the other half, and we ended up embossing, no problem, Laura, we ended up embossing this layer. Now, it looks super cool without it embossed, but just to make those more avid crafters think about taking their card over the edge just a little, you could go now and emboss this, or hang out, watch the rest, and then emboss this layer before you keep adding stuff to it, okay? So just a little side note on that. We did emboss ours on the top. So, okay, I think I got everybody bought enough time to get theirs glued. We're gonna move on to glue number 6. Okay, let's flip down. Now, you guys, we have a strip here. It is the pattern paper. It's 1.5 inches by 7. Okay, so this is my pattern paper, and you're gonna adhere it to your bottom flap. And it goes end to end, here to here, and you have about 1/8 of an inch margin, and it's hard to see because it's purple on purple, I'm so sorry, but you have 1/8 and 1/8. Now, if you want to, you could trim off 1/4 inch on this and make it so that you see some of the paper on the bottom, but it does look really cool leaving the pattern paper the whole length, because then when the flap is down, the designer paper or your pattern paper goes all the way to the end, and you do see a little bit of the card base roll up through here, like you see the 1/8 of an inch. So this clue right here, you're adhering this pattern paper. It's hard to see it, as you can see it better with the X's. You're putting the pattern paper onto your bottom flap here. So I will do that with you. Just use a little glue because this is gonna go, unless somebody wants my fake card here. It ends up being a card, what I make with you guys, but it's never very pretty. So this is why we said that it needs to be 1.5 inches tall by 7 inches wide. And so anybody that missed finishing like their focal image or gluing this together, you could always, glue your panel on and do this step with us and then come back and finish the other stuff. Okay, so now you have colored cardstock and you have your designer or pattern paper that is glued or adhered onto your bottom panel here. So as you guys are finishing that, if you want to give me some thumbs ups, that would be awesome. And we're getting down to the end of it, right? We're getting close. You guys probably were like, well, we've got another couple pieces here to do, and we'll get this guy next. So I'm going to watch for you guys and take a little drink of water as I watch for those thumbs ups and hearts to come through, which they all rolled in right now. Perfect. Okay, it sounds like you guys, or I should say it looks like you guys are good with clue number 6. Yep. All right, so we're going to move on to clue number 7. Okay, so let's flip this down. All right, so this pertains to your 1x7 piece. Now, we said white or vanilla. If you really wanted to, it could be another color cardstock if you wanted. Hi, Bobby. You made 3 sets and catching the replay. Awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait to see your cards. So you're going to have here your 1x7, and you're going to make it into a belly band. Now, we have a note here. The seam should be in the front. Okay. Hi, Christy Warren. I'm glad you'll catch the replay. That's awesome. So we talk about the seam being in the front. So now you could have scored this, but you guys, making a belly band works really easy actually. Just taking the end, folding it over. Now you don't want to be so super tight with it, right? If you make this belly band so tight, it's gonna be hard to slide it on and off. Oh no, Madge, you thought the pattern paper was the belly band. Oh man, oh man. So you might have to cut yourself a new piece, and you could use this. This pattern paper here could be your belly band too, you guys. You guys, there's really no wrong way to do this. It's gonna be okay. But my point with this belly band is you do not want to make this so tight together that when you take it off, you can't put it back on very easily, right? So my advice on this one is to not glue it so tight. Like when you think it's tight, bring it back like a 1/16 of an inch or just a hair, just enough so that it's got a little looseness to it, right? So you put your little bit of liquid glue or tear-in tape, and when you put this around it, you want to kind of roll it around it, all right? So like I'm going to set this on here, and then once I have it kind of tight, I'm going to bring it back slightly so that I've got a little bit of gap. You see there's a little bit of space there? That's what you want with belly bands. If you put those belly bands on so tight, you're going to make it a struggle for those people to put it on. Or what they'll have to do is they'll have to take this and curve it to put your belly band on. Now, the reason that you want this, oh, good, you didn't do it yet. Perfect. The reason why you guys want the seam on the front, and I made sure to put the seam up like above this line, you want the seam on the front is, I think you might gather that this circle is gonna go here. And by putting the seam on the front, you're covering it up when you put your little circle on here, right? Otherwise, if you put your circle, I should say your seam on the back, when you put this on, then you're gonna see that seam and it looks a little bit sloppy, right? So we wanna make our cards look nice and polished and like nice looking, right? So make sure you put that seam to the front, okay? That's why that note is there. Where are you guys at with your belly band? We haven't glued this on yet, so don't be doing that. I mean, you can, but then if I tell you something, then you might not be happy if you don't like the way it turns out. But where are you guys at with wrapping your belly band? I hope that I've learned my way with belly bands. Like, you just don't want them so tight that you can't slide that on very nicely. Okay, so Jean's good. I saw lots of thumbs ups and hearts coming through. So far, so good. Are you guys liking this layout? we thought that with the holiday season coming up and gifts that are going to be going to places, not everybody gives gifts, and sometimes those cash options need to be in a pretty card, right? So without further ado, let's move on to clue number 8. All right. So you're going to adhere the focal image matted circles to your belly band covering the seam. So here you go, guys. Now, if you want to pop up, you could. Now, I'm a popper. I love dimensionals. So let's see. I had a sheet here from yesterday that I was so anxious. I had 2 left on here, and I might as well use them even for my fake card. I like to pop things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere these 2 on. Yes, it's a good, it's a nice, easy money gift card holder. So I like to pop things up, and so, it really doesn't matter. It's not going to be used for anything, but I like it centered top to bottom, left to right. And I know you're worried about the sentiment. Don't worry about the sentiment. We'll get it figured out. It's all good. So what you're doing is you're putting your matted circles to the belly band covering the seam, okay? So if you are not much of a popper upper, you could glue them directly on the belly band flat and not have a seam. Not have them popped up. I'm looking for an envelope. I think I have an envelope I can share with you guys. Oh, maybe I don't. Okay. So if you guys are probably wondering, like, what kind of an envelope do I use with this? Just the legal size envelopes are what you could use for this kind of a card, okay? Thank you. So we'll change it later. Yep, you can definitely change it later. So we're not quite there yet. So are you guys good with clue number 8? I was looking for an envelope. I thought maybe I had a business size legal envelope. That's the kind of envelope I would use for this. So if you guys are done with clue number 8, make sure you give me those thumbs up. I'll try to watch for the plethora of them to come through. And then what we're going to do is move on to one of our last clues, which is for our sentiment. Okay, I see some. Oh man, they're coming through. Good, good, good. Our list is good. It's going to be great for adult children for Christmas. Yes, Penny, absolutely. I went through my archives. I found a box of swap cards from probably 5 years ago, and this card was in there. And I'm like, oh man, Kelly, this is what we need to do for November's mystery card night, because this is the perfect timing for you guys. If you have adult children or grandchildren and you give them money, like you can make a nice card for them for their money, and they will save it forever. I promise you. I have cards from my grandparents that were not even handmade cards, but I saved them forever. Just think if this is handmade from you and it contains cash, it's like, boom, double whammy. All right, we're going to go on to clue number 9. Okay, so the sentiment okay, so this is what we have left, you guys. What are you going to do with your sentiment? So adhere the sentiment strip on the top flap, flush to the right, about an 1/8 inch from the bottom of the flap. Well, what does that really mean, right? Well, so ultimately, we had said not to have the sentiment be longer than 2 inches. Now you know why. Okay, so you can see why, like, my season's greetings was not a good option for me to pick. You guys, bad option. Okay, I didn't think about it till I was reading. I'm like, oh shoot. Okay, but I thought, well, you know what? We can make this work. If your sentiment is the right width, like if it's not more than 2 inches, it's gonna just fit perfectly in here, right? And when you slide this off, you can trim your end at a diagonal. Okay, so for me to fix this, what I would do is I would take and like banner that end, or like do that like that, and I would take this like that, and I'll take that, and I made myself these little strips, and then I might even make them just a little bit thinner. You guys, it's okay to not use a paper trimmer on your little labels like this, your little sentiments. It really gives it character when you cut out with a scissors. It does, like, and it makes it easier. So I'm just actually going to trim mine down like that. And then what I was thinking I would do to fix my situation, like, you guys shouldn't have a problem if you didn't have over 2 inches, but my situation then would be, I'm going to put this guy right here, and then I can put this guy here, or, if you're a person like things centered, but I was thinking offset like that, or had I stamped them the same size. I could have put on both sides like this. You could put them down here. Like your sentiment, and you know what, honestly, you guys, if you don't want a sentiment, don't even put a sentiment on here, okay? You don't need to have a sentiment, but what we have for ours is, so 2 inches, you cut it down, and then the sentiment was like right about here on the side. So I'm gonna pretend that's what I've got going on. And I do like the idea of, you know, band, like if you cut that you see that a lot now, I do. You just angle, like take your scissors and just go, and then on both sides, and that would look cool. Now you could have it set up so that it is all, not like, so it would be more underneath, like you wouldn't see it, but you could have it come out like this. You guys, it's your card. I tell you, it's your card. You put your sentiment on however you think it looks best for what you want to see. Like there is no right or wrong way to do it, okay? Promise you. And you're gonna start to see as the samples come in that people make that everybody's gonna look maybe slightly different. So, okay, as you guys finish up on this clue, I see some thumbs ups coming through, so keep them coming. Let me make sure you're done, or let me know that you're done. And we're gonna go to the last clue, which is usually the same clue, as always. Now, somebody did ask me, well, what about a piece of paper on the inside? Like, are we missing a piece? I think it was Anna. Anna, you asked, are we missing a piece of paper? So, oh, you guys are coming through. So we're gonna talk about that in clue number 10. I just noticed how dusty this thing is. Whoa, I gotta give that a good washing. Okay, so we're gonna flip down here now. Oh, we already did this, but okay, so slide your belly band onto your card. You guys, I don't think that I never had it off, I guess. So yeah, so slide your belly band onto your card. That was pretty simple. I don't think you guys have any problems with that. I mean, that's ultimately, like, you're gonna put that on. I'm not gonna even wait for you guys. I didn't know that was, I don't remember that being the clue. So we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna go to clue number 11. And let's see what 11 says. Okay, number 11, add ribbon to your card if desired. Okay, so here's the thing. How do you add ribbon to this card, right? So it's so cool the way it is. And I mentioned to you guys earlier that we used a lot of these focal images and built our own little collage of foliage. And then what we did, I promise you, all we did is we took a little bit of like linen thread or baker's twine, and we made ourselves a teensy weensy little yellow polka dot bikini bow. No, it wasn't a yellow polka dot, but it was a little bow. And we put that little bow right in the middle of our foliage. Now, the other option you could do if you wanted, and I know you might have your circle down already, but you could take a piece of ribbon about 2 inches, fold it in half, and like tuck the tail, you're like the folded edge here, and have 2 little tails coming out. You don't even have to add ribbon. You says here, if desired. If you're not a ribbon person, hi Lisa. If you're not a ribbon person, then you could leave it off. You don't even need to have ribbon. So this is your option now to embellish, and I'm gonna, oh, I gotta sit back down. And you guys had to, I definitely had to stand up there. So we'll move on to clue number 12, because all of this stuff is the icing on the cake for a card to me. So number 12 rolls into embellishing it. So this is where you're at with adding ribbon, adding gems. So we use these wonderful gems that are part of the mini catalog. We added a few wonderful gems onto the card. We put them sporadically. So you guys, now that you have, you could around the belly. Oh yeah, good call. So for those that haven't made your card yet, Judy Bobo has a perfect idea. She's saying that you could put your ribbon around your, so if you haven't put this on, or what you can do if you have this on already, you guys, you could take this off. Okay, take that off. What Judy's saying, take your ribbon. Hi, Ethel, you finally got here. Okay, you could put your ribbon, look at this, around your belly band, and make sure your seam is in the front. right? I'm not going to cut it because I don't want to use this ribbon. But then what you'll do is you'll put your circle over the top. And oh la la, that would have been so pretty. I think I should do that on that one. We didn't do that on ours, but that would be perfect on there. So good idea, Judy Bobo. I love it. So on the back then, you guys would see the ribbon like that. So pretty. Love it. See, this is where great minds like come together and ideas are even better. So I didn't think that far ahead on that part. So great idea. Okay, so you guys, that's like, you got to the end here. The main thing is to add your ribbon, embellish to your heart's content. And the last thing we love to do is we do love the Stella pen. Stella, it's called Wink of Stella brush, and she adds glitter to the, like whatever you Stella. And so if you have some cool, it's just shimmery, it's controlled glitter is what Stella is. And so we go crazy in the Hive over our Stella-ing, and so it's something that's fun to add to a card just to make it a little bit shimmery. Hi, Jody Storman. So yes, you guys, this is where you have fun finishing the rest of your card, decorating it, and when you're done, what you can do is put that crisp. I know your adult grandkids or children would be not so excited about a $10 bill, but you know what? That's the crispest bill I had in the Hive. And so you know what? It fits some bills perfectly, okay? Just like that. So the other thing I have here is a check. And this check, you guys, is actually going to get made out. Susan Reed is watching, and I thought this would be kind of cool for her to see. She won the $10 newsletter credit with me, and she asked, well, how does she get the $10 from me? Does it get like taken off of her order or what? Nope. What happens is she needs to place her order, and the way it works is I send her a rebate check. And so this is for you, Susan, after you place your order tomorrow. I was writing more and I almost said that. When you place your order tomorrow, then you get the $10 from me, and this is for the newsletter for October. Yay, so you can watch for this in your mail after you place your order. But you guys, a check fits perfectly in here as well, right? So now you've got a check, you could do cash. Now, if you don't want to do a check or cash and you want to simply make this a card, you guys, all it is 6 inches, right? So I think my ruler goes to 6 inches and it is 2.5. And you could even go a little higher. You guys could make it 3 inches by 6 inches. Cut yourself a white piece of paper and then put that in there, and that will work perfectly. Then you've just made yourself a pocket card, which perfect, right? So Susan, you like that? I'm like, oh, I got to show you guys a check in here, and now I got it all ready for you when you're. I'll put a thank you card with this. I promise you, I won't send you my hodgepodge money card holder here. It's not gonna. This probably isn't going to go anywhere. All right. So what does that mean now? We are pretty much wrapping up with our card, right? Some of you may have finished them completely. Deanne says, wait till you see what I put in mine. I love it. Oh, I love what you make, Deanne. I love it because you usually share it with my parents, and they are so happy and honored that you send them cards. So what do you do with your cards now? You want to take a picture of your card because we want to see it. The most exciting thing for me there's 2 exciting things for me with Mystery Night, you guys. One is that I don't make cards. I get to tell you how to make cards. But the other thing is that I get to see what you guys create. And how you do that is you could shorten it if you're using a gift card too. Yeah, absolutely. Debbie, that is perfect. So what you could do is cut it off at like 4 inches. I don't know how wide a gift card holder or a gift card is, but cut it off shorter and then make it fit a gift card. Absolutely. So what you guys is going to happen is in the Facebook. So sometimes we get confused between the Facebook group or page and my website. So this is happening in the Facebook page, my Cards by Christine Facebook page. You need to go to the events section. So this video right now isn't in the events section. I share it there later if Kelly hasn't done it already, but we create a post in the event and it becomes a past event, which kind of becomes confusing because right now it's a current event like social studies or our current events where you had to tell people currently what's going on in the world. I do remember that, like sophomore year, something like that. But you have to take a picture and share it in the post, a specific post that looks like this. And I'm going to show it to you. Usually, hang on, I gotta rearrange, and then roll closer to grab my phone. So you guys, I'm going to show you on my phone here exactly where to find it. So if you're in the Cards by Christine Facebook page, this is where, so anybody, for every 20 people that share their cards, we do a drawing for a prize out of my vault. So I'm in the Cards by Christine Facebook page, and you guys, you go to the word events, right? That's where my events are. And it is probably a past event. I'm thinking, oh, right there. It's upcoming actually because it's live now. When you click on that and you go to the discussion, you have to go to the discussion. About is where you guys saw the clue, right? See more, that's where the clue is. But if you go to the discussion, Kelly already shared the video there, and she will be sharing the picture. I don't think she has it in here. Oh, and now it won't go down any further. Oh, that's all that's there. So she will have a post in here that is this exact picture that you will share your cards. So we'll have to give her just a second. She shared the video, but she didn't share that yet because I don't see it. So just watch for that, you guys. I know that some of you are pretty quick on it and like to share your cards right away. So when I get done here, I will reach out to Kelly. But what you guys do, you have to come into events. If it's after the time is done, you guys scroll down and look under past events, and it will be down a little bit further in past events, okay? So we'll check one more time and see if she's got it in here now under discussion, and nope, she doesn't. So, okay, but what you guys, that screen here, I'll show you one more time. This is what it's gonna look like. And what you do is you share. And if you want to share your outside and your inside of it, that's fine. That's perfect. And so what we'll do on Thursday after the Painted Christmas class, we will go ahead at the end of class and do the random number generator drawing to pick some random winners of for people that shared their cards. So how does that sound? So let's see here. All right. Do you guys have any questions or concerns about what we did? Any ideas? I loved that you guys were helpful with ideas for using the ribbon. That was perfect. You could shorten. I loved that idea too, Debbie Schultz, about shortening it. You guys, what Debbie was saying on here is a gift card hold is like that. What you could do is cut it off right about here and then make it the perfect size for a gift card. So yeah, I love it. I love it. So, and hey, if you do make that too, you should post a picture of that as well, because that will inspire people when they see that to have that, to make that as well. So, all right, you guys, I think we did it. We kept it right down to an hour, which is perfect. I always try to keep this one to an hour. You guys, if you need me for anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Just remember, tomorrow the seasonal sale starts. Okay, so I don't know. I think it's probably 1 p.m. Central or like midnight Mountain Time. So right when the clock turns. Dies are you going to show your, yes, Jewel, I will show mine on Thursday night after the class and before we do the drawing. Absolutely. I don't show it tonight because I don't want to influence anybody. But I try to give you guys as much clues so you know what's working, what we're doing with ours. So the seasonal sale starts tomorrow. You guys, dies in the annual catalog are 20% off. Ink pads are 15% off, and cardstock is 10%. And so if you go into the online store and place an order and use my host code, just remember, if you're over the minimum amount of product, not shipping and tax, it's got to be product. Shipping and tax doesn't count. So if you're over $40 or $35, depending on the class, you could get it for free. So happy shopping, have fun. After you place your order and you use the host code, if you want to take advantage of the free class with me, you got to follow up and tell me which class you're looking for, or I'll reach out to you too. Just remember, it's based off of the product amount. And Susan, I think we talked about that the gift certificate that brings it down and reduces it, so it's got to be the $10 extra. So the seasonal sale starts tomorrow, and I know a few of you are going to be reaching out and joining the Be Happy Stampers because those sale prices are honored in your starter kit price as well. So tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday are great times if you guys are thinking about becoming discount shoppers. I would be honored to have you be part of the Be Happy Stampers. So we love our bees. So I think, Peggy, if I had to guess, I think I think it said midnight Mountain Time, which is 1 p.m. Central, which would be 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you try it that time of the night and it doesn't work, it might be something like 3 or 4 in the morning. I don't know exactly. And maybe if somebody's watching, I don't know if Karen Wetstein or Deb, if you guys saw what time the seasonal sale started, you could pop it in the comments. But my guess is at midnight Mountain Time. That's usually when they start their sales. So, oh, Faye loves it, and she'll be making more for family members while she's on vacation in December. That's awesome, you guys. So, Kelly and I started strategizing and planning for next month, and we were thinking snowflakes because it's going to be winter time for us here. So once we get those clues ready, clue number 1 ready, you guys, I always create a Facebook event, and I add the clue to my website. So it'll be a week or 2, and we'll get clue 1 out there for you. So, oh, good timing. Your dancing crab sushi is here. Awesome. Well, enjoy that, Penny. I will be having a hamburger momentarily. I had mentioned in a past live that we went there a few weeks ago, and it was so good. I think tonight I'm going to try a peanut butter and jelly burger. They said that it doesn't taste as weird as it sounds, and I have to see what this is all about because I love peanut butter and I love jelly. But I don't know how I feel about it on a hamburger. If I don't like it, I'm going to give it to Tyler and he can eat it. So, all right, you guys. Make sure you pay attention for tomorrow is Tip Tuesday. We're going to teach you about cleaning those photopolymer stamps, okay? So stay tuned. And you guys, lots of sunshine, love, and hugs to you. Happiness as always, and stay good until I see you next. All right? Love you. Bye, guys.